My name is Phil Thompson, and I'm originally from the Twin Cities area in Minnesota. I currently go to the University of North Dakota, studying commercial aviation. I'm a flight instructor currently, and I hope to become an airline pilot. I've been juggling for almost 4 years now, and I started my junior year of high school, just saw YouTube videos and decided that I wanted to learn that, so I just grabbed 3 balls and watched YouTube videos and practice. I'm working on, 5 club back crosses has been a work in progress. I've probably been working pretty hard on that for about a year and a half now. Slow progress. I think my record's a little over 40 now, but that's probably the biggest one I'm gunning for. 7 balls, yep, 7 balls, a part of every single practice. If you don't practice it, it immediately gets worse, so it has to be practiced every day. But yeah, it's always fun. Even to this day, to look at the pattern, the shape is just, it's beautiful, so that's what I like about it. Keeping it fun is the most important part for me. Up until this year, because of school, I would practice 5 days a week for 2 hours at a time, 2 to 2.5. And every practice is pretty much the same. Start with a 5-ball warm-up, work through all the tricks I can do, and working on consistency. And then once base patterns are solid, then integrating more difficult tricks becomes easier. It's very structured. 5-ball warm-up, usually 15 minutes or so. 5 ball is kind of a staple number just because there's so many different trick opportunities with 5. I'm a sight swap juggler, so I love all the different sight swaps. And I practice them, and a lot of 360 connections with sight swaps. I find that really helps not only improve your 360s, but also stabilize your patterns. Then I work on 6 balls. 6 I like more than most people, so I spend a good while on that. A lot of technical things. I'm not quite as artistic. It's just not really my style, although I am growing to appreciate that style of juggling. And then I do my 7-ball practice. And I really don't work on 8 or more. It's just 5, 6, and 7. And then once I'm done with that, then I go to clubs. I go 3 clubs, 4 clubs, 5 clubs. And I just drill all of the patterns that I have and all the tricks. Again, 80% of the time on the stuff that I'm fairly consistent at. And then spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes working on 3 different patterns that I'm trying to learn at one time. I think if I work on too many more than that, it gets a bit cumbersome. I'll give you a pretty boring standard response of flash it over and over and over again. Once you can do that, start building it up. Try to keep, if you throw up a pattern and it's just a complete mess, it may not be worth working on right now. You may have better use of your time somewhere else and then coming back to it later. But if it does have a shape and you can really see it happening, then working on building up slowly is most important. Sometimes it's fun to throw it all over the place and keep a pattern running longer than you should, but like a lot of people will say, it's not as beneficial. So flashing, building up with longer runs. I've used the pyramid practice structure quite a bit. I find that to be really effective. Don't ever have 2 days in a row where you're not juggling. Consistent, that when you're trying to learn a trick, make sure you practice that trick every single practice session. It's really not any secret, it's just boring, and sometimes people don't like the answer, so they try to find it elsewhere, and it just doesn't exist. That's just the reality. If you can get it 10 times in a row during your warm-up, that's probably a good sign that you're ready to go. Also, I think there's something to be said for having experience with a trick. If you're practicing, or if you're doing a trick for the first time in a show and you've never performed it yet, it's usually there's just a little bit more nerves there. It's just a little more unsettling. So for newer tricks, I'd be more cautious of introducing that into a show. And if you're not feeling it, or the performance isn't going exactly like you want it to, have something else ready that you could throw in instead. If you're not sure, you're probably not ready yet, is what I'd say. So if you're just starting out, I would say number 1, keep it fun. If you're not having fun, you won't do it. And if you're not doing it, you're not going to get better. So at first, when I started juggling, it wasn't as calculated and organized as my sessions are now. But I kept it fun, and that's why I kept going. So that's the first thing. If you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong. Juggling should be fun. But if it is fun and you want to take your juggling to the next level, I would say 1, get a schedule going of when you'll practice. If you get a schedule going, get a list of tricks you want to practice. Because after that, if you've got all those things done, it's consistency. Make sure you practice every trick in every practice session, and slowly improvement will be made. And if you need to track progress, either with video or writing it down, reminding yourself that you actually are making progress when sometimes it's hard to see can also serve as motivation for continuing to get better. And that's the thing I like about YouTube, which is largely how I got into juggling. If you have a YouTube channel or you don't yet, you should make one. And even if you don't make your videos public, post them there, because that way they can stay there. And then in a year or 2 years or something, you can look back at your old videos and you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I didn't really get better. And you look back and you're like, that was 4 months ago, and now I can do that trick way more consistently, or I didn't realize I learned that many new tricks. I have a YouTube channel. If you type in Phil Thompson Juggling, you'll find me. I think I have like a little blue juggling balls in my thumbnail picture. YouTube is what I do the most. You can also look me up on Facebook, Phil Thompson. If I see you're a juggler, I'll certainly friend you.